Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Legends of Tomorrow Season 3, and this is going to be my review for Episode 10, otherwise entitled Daddy Darkest, I think it was called. But of course, before we continue on, if you have not watched the episode, go watch it, then come back to this video later on, because we're going to be diving into, the big talking points for this episode, which of course, includes spoilers. But if you are continuing on with the video, if you've obviously watched the episode, be sure to drop a like on the video to, just to support the channel. Let me know in the comments section down below what was your favourite part of the episode, what did you enjoy, what didn't you like so much, just let me know in the comments section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So really the big thing to talk about going into this episode was essentially when we saw Sarah go into that other area, that dimension, I guess, where she encountered the hand of Mallus and then was drawn out or pulled out by Oversharp. So that was really our introduction into this other world, and it's basically what we learned throughout this episode. We'll talk about it later, but just to give some scope on it all, it's basically if you're possessed by Mallus, you're in this dimension. I guess that's where you are put in your consciousness, if that makes sense. But the opening Constantine scene for this episode was awesome. This episode felt like an episode of Constantine, but also felt like an episode of Legends at the same time, which is actually harder than it sounds to do, and I thought the episode did it pretty well. You still got those Legends aspects, it still felt like that normal Legends episode, but at the same time, you felt like you're watching a Constantine episode as well, which I thought was amazing. But yeah, that opening scene just felt like a Constantine episode. They even name drop Astra, which is of course the girl from Constantine Season 1, if you want to call it, or the series Constantine that we saw there. So I thought that was a cool name drop, and they also name drop her later on in the episode. And you even got that cool logo. So instead of the Legends logo, it was incorporated with the Constantine logo as well from his show. So that was just awesome. Now we do find out in this episode, it wasn't too much of a surprise, because I think we discussed it on a live stream, and I think I read it in other places as well, that the little girl was Nora Dark. I think a lot of people thought this was going to be the case. I think they were calling it Emily, as an Easter egg to Emily Rose, the exorcism of Emily Rose, I think that's what it's called. So that was an Easter egg or a reference there, but it ended up being Nora Dark, and I think this ended up being too much of a surprise. If it surprised you, let me know in the comments. But I think a lot of people had figured this out by now, just because it's been such a long time since Legends has been around. So there's been over a month to figure out who this girl was, and yeah, it's Nora Dark in 2017. But she was called Emily because after Damien Dark died, and obviously her mother had died previously before Damien Dark died, she got put in Child Protective Services, or Child Services if you want to call it, and they essentially just changed her name. Now, one thing going into this episode I wasn't expecting, but I thought it was awesome, was essentially when we had half of the Legends get put into a temporal thing, a temporal spell, and get taken back to 1969. So we had Leo, or Citizen Cold, or Captain Cold from Earth X, Constantine and Sarah go back to 1969 and experience the asylum that they're in, which I think was called Sumner, or Sunmer, or something like that. That's the asylum name. They went back to 1969, that version of it, with some similar characters from present day, but obviously in their younger forms. And I thought the show did well about managing both of those timelines, and the different storylines going on within those different timelines. I thought the show did a pretty good job in not making it too much of a mess. So I thought they did it pretty well with present day dealing with the Nora Dark stuff, and the part in 1969 just dealing with them getting back to modern day, as well as figuring out some other stuff as well. One quick scene in this episode, which I thought was actually really funny, was when Mick was watching the football and was just delegating everyone. Mick was the leader for 10 seconds. I thought that was awesome and really funny as well. Now, just really to sum up what happened in 1969, the really big moments were essentially Leo almost getting a lobotomy, which would have been pretty insane if he had that good old chisel chucked into his brain to clear some stuff up there. So Leo almost got lobotomized. So yeah, and the reason that he got so close to getting lobotomized was because Sarah and John Constantine decided to hook up, and that was one of the most random and spontaneous hookups I think we've had in the Arrowverse. I can't think of anything else that was as random. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, and I really can't think of anything that was as random and just happened. It was just, I wasn't expecting it, just happened. So Sarah and John are hooked up. So there's some awkward tension later on, especially if Sarah finds someone else. But yeah. Now, one of my favourite scenes in this episode would have to be the jitter scene between Nora, who later gets possessed by Mallus again, and then Zari and Ray. I thought that scene was really well done. They incorporated into, 2017, how in the Arrow storyline from Season 5, where Oliver as mayor was getting the possible impeachment, or he's at the impeachment hearing. I think that's what they were doing. Oh, that's what like they were referencing on the TV. So I thought that was nice that they like twisted in there. But if I remember back to Arrow season 5, they never really brought up Damien Dark's murder and him getting trial for that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I just can't remember about that far back if they even mentioned that. If they did, let me know in the comments. But I don't think they ever did that in season 5. I think it was just more about the Green Arrow stuff and more the Billy Malone rather than anything to do with Damien Dark. But I might be wrong there. But they decided to mention that. I guess it was maybe just to obviously tie it in with Nora Dark and get her a bit emotional and bring forth Mallus. But within this jitters scene, we get a massive story point that happened really quickly, but they do later like dive into it and explain it, where Zari actually touches Nora, controlled by Mallus, and starts to like burn her as if she was like a demon, getting like holy water poured on her or something like that. And essentially anyone that's a bearer of a totem is a massive force against Mallus. So essentially I think this season is going to turn into an Easter egg hunt for all these totems. So we know Amaya's got one, Kawasa's got one, Zari's got one, and there's also a fire one, an earth one. Now the fire totem was in Vixen's season 2 or 1, I think. So there's an earth one. There is an episode coming up called the like something for the earth totem or something. And then there's another one. So it's going to be interesting to see what this last totem is. Because they didn't name it. They didn't name what it could possibly be. So I'm very, very interested to find out what it's going to be. Because it could bring in some other characters. And it's just a mystery for this season. Like, what is this last totem? Where is it going to be? Who possesses it? Does anyone possess it at all? Where are we going to find it? There's a lot of different questions. And even just the earth and fire totem are going to be interesting to follow as well. So we have 3, and we have 3 more to find and get. And I guess they have to get Kawasa either on their side or just get her totem in general. But she has it like embedded in her, I think. I think she's like, she is the totem, if that makes sense, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that's going to be a thing that they're going to have to bring on their side. They might have to sacrifice Kawasa because of that. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to find out. But I think we all saw this coming, even though Ray and Zari were trying their hardest to try and bring Nora onto their side. And you think Nora's been saved, that Nora's going to remember this, not go down this path. Damien shows up and just goes, yo, if you just side with Mallus, keep on his side, do what he wants, I can be back with you. You just got to bide your time. And I think we all saw this coming. Like that, Ray and Zari could try their hardest, but I think we all knew that Nora was eventually still going to be on the side of Mallus and continue on to where we saw her with her future version. I can understand why they didn't bring her future version in, because it would have caused a bit of an issue there. But I wasn't really surprised that Nora's still stuck on the side of Mallus come the end of this episode. Now, we did get Constantine, like, warning Ray to just keep that gun. We saw Ray working on it in the beginning of the episode, just in case Sarah... Or he says that Sarah is eventually going to get, like, taken over by Mallus. So, that's going to be interesting, for one. But I'm interested to see what this... It's just a nano gun, so does it just shrink? Like, correct me if I'm wrong, I might not understand the complexities of it. But let me know in the comments, is it just, like, a shrinking gun? If so, if it's not, then let me know, like, the full-on, like, details of it. But... from what I'm gathering, it's just a shrinking gun. It just like maybe breaks down the particles. Maybe it might help with the Kawasa thing. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I might just be clueless on it, which I basically am. I don't know too much on it. But yeah, if you know, if you're like a master of it, let me know in the comments. Now, we were talking about this like a couple of episodes ago because we knew that Leo or EarthX Leonard Snart was coming to the show. And I did say, yeah, he's going to be in 2 episodes. And this was the last of his 2 episodes, so he's gone. But we have Wally West showing up next episode. He's not in the whole episode. He's going to show up for a bit, get involved, I guess. And then in episode 13, he officially joins the Legends. So we're going to be down another Legends member for a couple of episodes before we fully pick up Wally full time. So we lose Leo. I thought he had a good scene. That goodbye with Mick was more than just a goodbye from EarthX Leo. It was a goodbye from just Captain Cold as a whole. Because if you did not know, Wentworth Miller is gone from Legends. His contract is ended. He's meant to be appearing on 1 more episode of The Flash this season. We don't know if that's still happening. That was just like, it was said that was happening. That could have been cancelled because they might not have been able to fit him in. But he's meant to be appearing in another episode of The Flash this season. We'll have to wait and see if that happens. But in regards to Legends, that's it. So I thought that was actually a really subtle but nice farewell to the Mick and Leonard Snart friendship, I guess. And it was subtle but nice at the same time, as I said. So goodbye, Leonard Snart, from Legends for now. I don't think they have anything else planned for him. So, yeah, goodbye. And we end the episode off with finding out that Rip Hunter has escaped. And I'm not too surprised by that. I think that it's time to bring Rip Hunter back into the show. Like, he is seasonal, if you want to call it that. Like, he's brought in when it's necessary. But as we begin this journey to take down Mallus and find all these totems and stuff, I think it's relevant and needed that Rip is involved, because they can't just bring him in like the last 3 episodes. Like, okay, we've almost done. Rip, come along and help us. Like, Rip has to be in the mix of it as well. I'm not expecting him to show up next episode, but episode probably maybe 12 or 13, I think he will show up, and I think he might have a hand or role in bringing in Wally West to the show, because I think I read somewhere that Wally West is meant to be brought into the show by Rip. So I've heard that. I'm not 100% sure if that's the case. I've just heard that. So if that happens, don't be surprised. But yeah, I'm excited that Rip's coming back. I do like Rip as a character, but I think the Legends do work better without him, if that makes sense. I think it's like a better like dysfunctional team which provides more entertainment. But I think when it comes to dealing with massive threats, it helps when Rip is involved because he's a bit more organized and a bit more experienced. So I'm excited to see him come back into the show and just help with these totems. Like, since this totem thing has been revealed, I'm very excited to see what the show does and where it goes in this season. Now, the only one complaint I have... I did 2 fingers. The only one complaint I have for this episode is that they said we will be seeing Mallus in this episode. We did not see Mallus. What the hell? I'm so annoyed. I thought the final scene was going to be like Sarah walking down, get sucked into that thing again, and she would see Mallus, like we saw when we saw that like hand come at her and we saw it like an eye. I thought we'd fully see Mallus. He's meant to be CGI for basically most of the season, and we didn't see him. What? You said in an interview that we were seeing Mallus in episode 10. So unless they said that we're going to see like Mallus possess people like more in depth in episode 10, then I guess we got that with Nora Dark, but we'd seen that with the adult version of Nora Dark back in like episode 6 or 7. So what the hell? I was actually very disappointed. That's actually my one blemish with the episode, that we didn't see Mallus when they promised we would be seeing Mallus in this episode. So unless it got cut, they decided to move it to another episode because this interview was done a while ago. I don't know, but yeah, so I guess we're going to have to wait. Maybe next episode we might see him. I wanted to see him this episode, just see what he looks like, because as I said, they said he's going to be CGI for most of the season, then he's going to be like real life, if that makes sense, in like towards the end. I'm guessing that's when his true identity is revealed, because that makes sense. But yeah, that's the only thing I'm sort of disappointed by in this episode. But apart from that, overall, this episode was really enjoyable. As I said, I really liked how it felt like a Constantine episode, but still felt like a Legends episode at the same time. I thought they handled Leo Snide pretty well. They couldn't make him the main focus because Constantine was the main focus, but I thought they gave him enough time in the episode and a nice, subtle, but, you know, nice farewell as well with Mick as like the main goodbye route, or goodbye point, if that makes sense. So I enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see more Legends. It's been a bit of a wait, but finally it's back. And yeah, I think it's continuing on with its strong season. And I think it's been the most consistent season of DC TV, maybe apart from Black Lightning, but we're going to have to see more episodes of Black Lightning to see if that stays the case. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you drop a like on the video to show your support. Let me know in the comment section down below what was your favourite part of the episode, what parts didn't you like? Were you as annoyed as me that Mallus was in the episode? Did you know that Mallus was meant to be in this episode, or heard it at least? Just let me know if you're annoyed by it. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm a bit pipped off by it, but overall I still thought the episode was good, so just let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.